It's July the 26th, day 9 of the hunger strike. And we're in the truck outside the Dow Chemical plant with Diane Wilson. And it's noisy as hell. Hi, Diane.
Hi there.
How are you doing?
Pretty perky. I'm Bucky.
Yeah.
Hello there.
How you doing? How much longer are you going to do this?
Honey, as long as it takes.
You know that's bad.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I know it. I'm pretty sturdy, though. I really am. I really am.
What do you think about what she's doing?
The small town of Seadrift, once a thriving fishing community, is now almost entirely dependent for employment on the chemical plants that dominate the nearby countryside. Diane Wilson, a fourth-generation fisherwoman, began her struggles with the petrochemicals industry in 1989, when she found out that her tiny Texas community was responsible for nearly 17% of the nation's pollution, discharging over 450 million pounds of toxins into the air, land, and water.
You need to put your belt on.
Oh. There is nobody that works harder than a fisherman or a shrimper or an oysterman. It is very hard physically work. And used to, you can make a living at it. And there's no living at it. And it's just frustrations. You're constantly on the alert for you're violating the law, game wardens, you know, and all. I know there was one fisherman in town, and he had started, I guess he got so desperate that he took out a net, and nets are illegal, and so he went net fishing again, and he and his son got thrown in the penitentiary, and they've been in there about 3 years. The penitentiary for fishing. This is what happens when the fishing dies. The community's dead, the businesses are gone, there's nothing for the kids to stay for.
Back then it was more money shrimping than, you know, any other job you could get. Back when I was, I'd say 30, 35 years old, a shrimper was considered a high-class person. Nowadays they're not. They're low-class people.
So Dan, why are you doing this?
Well, like I said, I've been a fisherman all my life, and I'm especially bonded to the water. And in 1989, the toxic relief inventory came out, made by Congress right after Bhopal and because of Bhopal. And this industry, for the first time ever, had to report the releases. And it was front page headlines. It said Calhoun County was the #1 county in the nation for toxic disposal. I was so surprised by it that I just called a meeting in town, and people went crazy when I called the meeting. You know, I had Chamber of Commerce down at my doorstep, down at the fish house. I had bank presidents. I had the plant manager. I had city council down there, and they did not want me to call a meeting. They didn't want me to do anything. They wanted me to just be quiet. And you know, and that's the type of stuff I would get, you know. And even when I tried to, I was looking at the cancer statistics. I had the American Cancer Society out of Victoria, one of their head people, come down to Seadrift on the sly. Nobody's seeing him. He didn't want to go in the cafe where people could see him. And all he tried to do was talk me out of doing a cancer study, a health study. And it was like, nobody will take it serious. They'll rip it to pieces. You're wasting your time doing that. And this is the American Cancer Society. And 2 weeks later, his picture was in the paper with Victoria Economic Development. And when problems start happening and you start having bad press, suddenly they're buying computer systems for the police department. They're buying police cars. They're buying defibrillators for the ambulances. They're buying typewriters for the churches and the libraries. They're putting their little coloring books in the elementary schools where my children sat. They have taken it over. If people do not believe that corporations have taken over America, then they need to come down a little small town Texas and just check it out.
As one of his first actions as governor, George W. Bush appointed 3 petrochemical industry leaders to key environmental posts, where they subsequently gutted environmental regulations on those and other industries. By 2002, Texas, which boasts the largest concentration of refineries and chemical plants in the country, was also the nation's leader in toxic releases, chemical spills, ozone pollution, carbon dioxide emissions, clean water violations, and the production of hazardous waste.
The goal of zero discharge, written by Congress, is that by 1985, there would be no contaminants into the water. But the reality is, you know, there's a chemical cocktail out there. You got benzene, and you got chloroformine, you got acrylonitrile, and vinyl chloride, and chloroform, and copper, and lead. It can cause liver cancer and brain cancer. It can damage fetuses. It can cause spontaneous abortions. And the goal by Congress, I mean, they're the one that wrote it. These smart men, educated, Harvard educated. It was zero discharge. And it's like gone out the window.
I know George W. Bush personally, and he is my friend at the personal level, so I know him as a human being.
How do you feel about the environment here, the ecological issues that are...
We have a really bad environment, and we had destroyed the environment for the sake of business. But in order to fix that, we had to have a lot of money. And I think if we make a lot of money in businesses, we will be able to take care of the environment and the people.
All day I face the barren ways without the taste of water.
Zero discharge was the goal of the Clean Water Act, 1972. And instead of zero emissions out there, we have Superfund sites. We have fishermen that are bankrupt because of ecosystem dying out there. And my new little business venture is to take what the petrochemical industry has produced, and we're going to bottle it and send it right back to the businessman where it come from.
Here on the sparkling Gulf Coast of Texas, we produce the richest water in the world. Only here are the fires of industry and the once blue waters of nature finally allowed to come together and create what is quite possibly the most refreshing, energizing, and satisfying bottled water ever created. A rare and delicate blend designed especially for the businessman on the go. A crisp, complex refreshment, a state bottled by former fishermen right here in Port Lavaca. Try just one bottle of Texas Gold, and we're sure you'll agree. You'll never drink another bottle of water again. Ingredients: mercury, benzene, polyvinyl chloride, chlorine, lead, asbestos, ethylene dichloride, phthalates, and copper. Harmful if swallowed.